don't see why not.
Okay.
I'm not interesting enough to have, like, stalkers.
Hello, everyone. Today I am joined by Ray, the founder of Ray Artworks on Instagram. She's a super talented artist and also one of my most amazing friends ever. I also used to dance with her, so if you guys have seen the first 2 seasons of Life on Point, she's probably made quite a few appearances. So today we are going to be doing another Artist Life episode. Thank you so much for coming on my second episode.
Of course.
What made you want to do ballet?
Well, I don't actually remember my thought process beforehand, but I do know that in first grade and second grade, my parents put me in soccer and softball, respectively, but I didn't like either. I was very scared of the ball. I would pretend to run with the groups, and then I would kick the ball as soon as it came to me. Doesn't matter to who. Sometimes it's to the other team. In softball...
Like, get the ball away from me.
Yes, it was super scary. But even with softball, my parents would scream at me to get the ball because it would fly past me and I just jump screaming. And so sports are not my forte. So I think my parents put me in ballet to have some sort of physical activity as well as a hobby.
That makes sense. I think it's funny when people put their kids in ballet, though, as like a hobby or something, because it's like, why, though?
Yeah, I know.
It's so awful.
It's the worst.
So what do you love, like, what did you love or like about dance? Or did you ever really love dance or feel like you connected to it?
Yes, I definitely do love dance, and I always have. That's probably why my parents put me in ballets, because when I was little, I was always dancing around or moving. I'm a very expressive and mobile person, and so I'm
yes,
always...
she is.
I'm constantly moving. I can never stay still, but I think that's probably why I was put in ballet, and that's why I loved it, because I was able to move and have a physical activity that wasn't just based purely on strength. The technical aspect of ballet I really learned to love when I went to your studio and Jana taught me how to have better control and technique. And I think I loved the process of getting better in ballet.
Awesome. And like, I remember like when we would be in class, we would have like 20 minutes of choreography. Do you still do that? Do you still like going to the studio or like making up your own dances or like things like that?
I always want to. In fact, just recently I bought a song. It's like, I should choreograph this, dance to this. But then I don't actually do it. So in my room, I'll probably just like be dancing around. Like the other day I was dancing around my room. I don't know which music I was dancing to, but I hurt myself. I don't know how.
As you do.
I don't know how I did it. I was just dancing around, and all of a sudden I was like limping because I hurt my ankle.
Oh no. No, actually, a funny story. I actually would choreograph stuff in my room too, because like my room's pretty big and spacious, and I have that ballet bar on my wall, and so I was like fully into it, and I bashed my head against the ballet bar because apparently my depth perception was non-existent that day. What made you shift your focus? Because now you have in your Instagram profile, Ray Artworks, and it's really amazing. And we were just talking earlier about how she hadn't always been drawing. She hadn't always been, doing that. She started when she was 17, and she's as amazing as she is now. What made you shift your focus from ballet and all of that to art? Like, what made you decide that art was the way you wanted to go?
Well, when I was in 4th grade, I used to draw a lot, but then I just stopped because I wasn't good at it. So I was like, why am I wasting my time doing this? And so with ballet, that was my sole hobby and my only outlet and expression. But when I was about 17, my friend forced me to draw pictures, even though I didn't want to. And she made me, she's like, anyone can draw, just do it. Yeah, she gave me no choice in the matter. I was like, I don't want to. I suck at drawing. She's like, no, do it. And I drew a dragon. And it looked like a donkey, but I really enjoyed it. It was really fun going through the process of getting that donkey. And so I think that was when I first started. And then I started drawing pictures of ballet dancers, of course, because that was my whole life at that time.
Yeah.
And so during that time, I was starting to grow tired of being in class all the time in ballet, but I found another way to express myself. And so with art, I'm able to still have that joy of getting better and seeing that progress, while with ballet, I was starting to not be able to see that anymore.
What's your favorite thing to draw?
My favorite thing to draw is probably faces because, I really like people. And, like, the eyes. I think the eyes are the most expressive part of someone's face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun because sometimes you can draw, like, a circle with just, like, a few, like, light parts and it looks like an eyeball. And it's really cool how it works. It's just
your eyes are actually, you're really good at drawing eyes.
Thank you.
Like, I think one thing I was really good at when I was drawing was noses.
Noses? Really?
Yeah.
I'm really bad at noses. Like, it's so bad.
I would, like, literally, like, take the pencil and, like, trace my own nose and then, like, try and feel it on the paper.
That's really smart,
though. It worked.
Yeah.
It was, like, not typical technique, but...
No, I know when I was little, I would watch Tom and Jerry, and when I would pause it on a screenshot that I liked, and I wouldn't look at my paper, and I would just draw it. And I remember one time I drew Jerry, and it was almost perfect.
Dude, that's
until,
amazing.
like, all of a sudden I was, like, going off the page. But until that point, I was really good at it.
Okay, so I'm not the only one that can do that then, like, where you're, like, watching something else or, like, can be, like, writing or drawing or doodling or
I can't do it
like
anymore. I was very talented when I was younger.
Oh. Oh, well, I mean.
No, you're just talented now. You're just super special.
Well, thank you. So, what made you decide to start posting your artwork and getting it out there?
Well, I'm a show-off, naturally. Like, when I do something, even if it's only mediocre, I wanted everyone to know about it. And it's not exactly that. It's like, oh, look how awesome I am. It's more of like, hey, look, I did a thing. You should look at it. Mm-hmm. And so my family will kind of get bothered with me because I'm constantly, like, walking around the house. I'm like, look at this drawing I did, Mom. And she's like, that's good. And then she'll continue watching TV. Just kidding. She's really nice and sweet about it. And she's like, okay, I think you need to work on that. But still, I am a very, like, attention seeker. Very much one of those people.
That's so funny. Such an honest answer. I love it. So we were actually talking about this earlier, but have you ever, like, thought about where Ray Artworks could go as far as, like, could it be a business? Would you end up selling, your paintings or drawings or, doing logo art? I mean, you just did a tattoo art recently, right?
Yeah, I did. It was for my cousin. He's in the army right now, so it was really sweet of him to ask me to do that. Thank you.
I legit was like, perfect tattoo ever. So good. Like, I think initially when you had first drawn it and I didn't even know it was a tattoo yet, I was like, dude, that's like the perfect tattoo right there.
Yeah, someone actually asked me to use it as a tattoo. I don't know if they did it or not, but It was really cool. I was like, yes, that's what it was intended for. But yeah, I have thought about where I could take it, and honestly, I'm not that great at what I do yet because I've only been drawing for a couple of years. But I have thought about, like, maybe going to, like, art classes and learning to get better. I have thought about, like, doing commissions and things like that so that I can help other people draw their ideas and also be paid to do that.
I mean, that's always good if you can turn it into revenue because
you
gotta live,
Yeah, it's great if you can do something you love and be paid for it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I have thought about that and, like, seriously pursuing it as a career. But right now I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I need to practice more and get better, but I enjoy it a lot. So
yay, that's good. So where do you see yourself going with your art? Like, are you going to move away somewhere, like get inspired, or you're like, I don't know.
I don't really know where my life's going right now, but I would in the future like to visit Japan. I feel like the people there, as well as the style of architecture and their gardens, are just incredible and beautiful. So I would like to go there and sketch out like the things I see. I've never really wanted to go anywhere else besides Japan.
Oh,
so, no.
Nah.
I can just go outside or look up pictures on the internet.
Is that how you is that where you pull your inspiration from? Is like outside or the internet?
Yeah, I try not to copy the pictures exactly because that is basically like copying someone else's work.
Perjury.
Yeah, even if it's just like their photographs, it's still considered like rude and like just improper. And so I try not to do that, but I've been working on that. I need to use my imagination a little more.
What is your favorite thing about art? And like, what is like how does it like make you feel, or like what do you love about it?
Well, I love it for the same reasons I loved ballet. Is because I love the fact that I can see my progress and I can practice a lot to get better. I like the fact that it's so slow and quiet that I can think about completely different things while I'm working on something, while at the same time I can be focused focusing really hard on what I'm doing.
So why? I know you started teaching soon after. When did you start teaching?
I started teaching, I think, the year before I quit ballet.
Okay, so when did you, what did you love about teaching?
Well, the thing is, I may have gotten tired of ballet, doing it myself and the hours of work, but I really love the art in and of itself, and the product of that work was really gratifying to see.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of dancing myself, I found my outlet in the students I was given and seeing them progress, and to be able to constantly talk about the intricacies of every single little movement that is just so subtle that no one really knows about, and being able to speak about that and to teach others like what I love about it so much was really gratifying and fun.
Oh, cool.
Plus, I was a pretty, I won't say harsh, but I was a hard teacher, so it was
You're a hard teacher.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever taught me, but just based off of taking class with you and we would correct each other, I was like, dang, she's a hard teacher. And the big question, why did you quit ballet?
Yeah. So ballet was a huge part of my life for about 15 years. It was basically...
That's a long time.
It is a long time, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's most of my life. But ballet is frustrating. It's a mental game, as Jana likes to say. It's very taxing on your emotional state, and it's very just mind-numbing at times. I'm pretty sure every ballet dancer has a love-hate relationship with ballet, no matter how much they love it.
Yeah.
There's always going to be an aspect of it where you're just constantly frustrated and wanting to do better. And I love ballet still with all my heart, and I still like the fact that I can get up and do things that maybe most people can't do. But it grew tiring spending all my time working on something that at that point in my life was not as important to me anymore. And a year before I started quit dancing, I started drawing and painting, and it wasn't maybe the greatest work I've ever done, but it was something else to express myself through. While ballet for most of my life was the only thing I did. I was known as a dancer, or it was part of my identity, and I didn't want it to be anymore. And so with art, it allowed me to express myself in other ways, as well as to find different identities almost, to just find ways to still be me without giving up a whole aspect of my artistic self.
Yeah.
And so it was just a relief when I stopped. I still miss it. I still think it's a great discipline, and everyone should try it at least once. But I think I was just tired of being identified as that, and to just move on. And drawing allowed me to do that because I realized I don't need to be a dancer to be me.
Right. Did you ever face, this isn't a question on the interview card, but did you ever run into people that were disappointed that you had decided to stop dancing? Or?
Oh my gosh, yes. That's probably the worst part of it, because everyone I knew or who knew me was fully aware of the fact that most of my time was spent dancing and spent working on that. And so even if they've never seen me dance, they were
knew you were the dancer.
Yeah, they're like, Renee, the dancer, and stuff. Plus, it didn't help whenever I was playing games with people, I couldn't control my legs. And so I nearly kicked people in the face so many times during soccer.
Would you?
Almost. I never did, but I was so close to doing it. I always felt really bad, but I couldn't help it.
I remember that one time at your birthday. We were playing badminton, right?
Yeah.
Your leg flies out.
It doesn't help, but I try to use it.
It was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I can't control my legs anymore. Or I slide into the splits and people think I do it on purpose. I'm not.
You're like, no, my legs just have no control.
I have no control. It's gone. I never had control.
Oh my god.
But yeah, people do get disappointed when some people heard I was quit dancing. Even though they've never seen me dance, they're like, that's who you are. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's something I do. Yeah. I always loved how Jana would remind us that ballet, we're not dancers, but it's something we do for fun or for a career or just for our own enjoyment. It's not who we are, even if it's a big aspect of our life.
Yeah. I think that was like really hard for me to personally realize was that I had made it my identity. Not just because people would call me the dancer all the time, like from the time I was like 2 and dancing up and down the aisles of churches, you know, like that's how I really started in ballet was worship dancing. But I think like for whatever reason, like I think you did a really good job of like not making it like who you are as much as it was something that you recognize that this is not my identity. This doesn't dictate like who I am, but it's a part of me that shapes part of my life. So like for me, like recently realizing that I'm like, wow, my identity is a lot in dance. It's like, ooh, like, cause that's like when you stop dancing, like what else is there? You know?
And I think that's part of the reason it's like such a pitfall and why you can hate ballet so much sometimes is because you
want out, but you can't.
Yeah, you can't just give up. I mean, it was hard for me to quit. It took me 2 or 3 years to get to the point where I felt ready enough to do that. Because when you do it for so long and spend so much of your time trying to get better, it feels like a waste. When you finally say, I'm done, it feels like you just wasted all your time.
Especially when it's like 15 years, because that's not like, I don't know if you think the same way, but like for me, like whenever I would think about quitting, like last year when I was like, I'm done. I'm so done. You can stick a fork in me. I'm done. I was like, every time I would just want to say like, I'm done, it would be like, but my teachers and all their time and
there's guilt,
money and, you know, everything that like my parents have poured in, the driving hours, like everything would just rack up to this like, like this like feeling of like anxiety of like quitting, even though I wanted to quit so bad. I just like didn't know how to say I quit. You know?
And there's nothing wrong with wanting to quit, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to quit but not and continuing. For me, ballet has never been a goal in my life. Well, for you, you've always wanted to be a professional. And so it's much different for me to quit because I'm not giving up on my dreams, you know? And I really respect you for how hard you work and for how much you put into it because it shows.
Thanks.
So I think it's important when you're caught up in ballet so much or really anything in life, is that you have to have something else to kind of hold on to help keep your sanity because it's easy to get lost in the art of it. You have to have something to just kind of bring you back down to earth, even if it's something you're not good at, something that's not important. For me, that was art, but now art's more important to me than ballet is. But it just allowing yourself those times to transition as well as to try new things. Even if you're not great at it, it's just something to do to get your mind off things.
Yeah, I agree with that. What would be your advice for people that want to go into the arts industry or want to start off but don't really know how to begin?
It's a really good question. I'm still consider myself a beginner now, so I don't know how much advice I have, but in anything, there's a lot of people in the world, and something my grandpa would always tell my family is that there's always room for the best. So you may not start out at a very strong point, or you may not be very talented, but no one's really like talented. It's all in the fact that you have to practice and take the dedication to get better. And even if the industry or the career you're looking into is impacted or full or just there's too many people in it, you can still work. And if you're the best, people will still seek you out and you'll still be able to have room for you in the world. Also, no one is like you. And so if you're trying to do something, there's only things that you can do or bring into the world. Even if it's similar to other people's ideas, you're going to have a unique perspective on life.
That was really good advice. I needed to hear that because I was like, oh, that's really good. Because like just like with dance in general, like it's one of those things that like you can get really easily discouraged. And we were also talking about this earlier, how like there's a 14-year-old prodigy in my class, and sometimes it's really sad because you feel like you suck. But like I think like that's really good. It's like everyone is so unique and has their own voice and has their own thing to bring to the table. You just have to be a right fit for that person, you know, in the industry. So
and everyone has their own strengths. So even if someone else is really good at, in ballet terms, like turning or extensions or jumping, there's things that you're better at, like maybe performance or other things. I don't know.
There's room for everything. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I am super excited to be bringing you guys these episodes. These, like, I take so much joy from these, from learning people's stories and all of that. And so thank you for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me.
Because, yeah, it's so cool to, like, get to see a different kind of perspective. So thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah. Bye!